to your mind, what is the coolest part about this confession and active contrition and, you know, turning it into a series and a comic book and all of this? What's the coolest part about this that makes you go, dude, this is so cool. I got to work on this. Like, what was that?
I mean, there's so many different aspects. I mean, first of all, it's just like it, as far as where kids are today and understanding the faith, most students, when I taught confirmation, they knew nothing, absolutely nothing. So having videos out there where they can actually learn and understand, that's the main thing, is getting them to understand the words that they're saying when they pray. Not
Mhm.
just repeat after me, memorize this prayer. It's like, okay, what does it mean? And having an animation, having visuals, or even with the comic book, having visuals to show like this is actually what's going on under the hood. This is what's going on in your heart, in your soul. This is what's happening when you have a contrite heart, when you confess,
Mhm.
um, and what this prayer is really about, rather than just having something else to memorize and say.
Mhm.
It's going a bit deeper into it. And it's coming from a series of two kids in a treehouse. Their guardian angels come in and teach them different prayers. And so this episode is the act of contrition prayer. And so they're going to go into a church. And that's another part that I'm really excited about is this church the illustrator we worked with. She was in Spain at the time
Mhm.
and visited Sagrada Familia
Okay.
and based the images off of that church, which is beautiful. And I have a home print copy. I didn't really get a
Oh,
a good print of it
that is
yet.
incredible.
Um, but
Wow.
it's absolutely beautiful. So we based
Mhm.
it mostly off that one, but also included elements of the Basilica of the Holy Sepulchre, of the Shrine at Fatima, because that's
Mhm.
where because this animation's for kids, and that's where Mary's coming talking to kids,
Mhm.
um, telling them the message to repent, pray the rosary,
Mhm.
and everything in the messages. So putting these together made some really beautiful images, I think, for this comic book and for this animation. Uh,
Amazing. Hey, describe the animation. So, what is that? Where can we find that online? Like, is it like a cartoon series or it's short little videos or something? What is
yeah,
that?
yeah, the act of contrition is still in progress. We're getting closer to completing the comic book, and then we're going to do the animation after that one. Right
Hmm.
now, we have three animations that are online for free right now.
Okay.
Um, One is the Hail Mary prayer. That's where we first got started. After that, we changed quite a bit of things around and started a new series. This is the one with the treehouse that I was talking about.
Hmm.
And that one, the first one teaches the prayer to the guardian angels because that introduces them when they come in. Then
Hmm.
we have an episode teaching the prayer to Saint Michael. So we have a Saint Michael character that comes in
Nice.
there
Why a
as the
treehouse? What was the inspiration for that?
I think is mostly me being indecisive of where the characters should be. Are they in a city, in a suburb? Are they living in the woods? Where are these characters taking place? So we just kind of put it in a neutral ground.
Mhm.
A treehouse could be almost anywhere.
Yeah.
And even in making the background for the treehouse, figuring out, okay, what's in the background? And we ended up just making it like the sky. Like they could
Okay.
be pretty much anywhere.
And you've been working on this specific project for how long now?
For the Catholic Stores for Children, it's been a few years of mix. It's doing other work at the same time, and then
Mhm.
more recently, I've been able to put a lot more time and effort into it.
Okay.
I'm also working on a master's in theology at the same time because I want to make sure all of
Wow.
these are in line with the faith and church
Mhm.
teachings.
That's amazing. Well, I want to come back and ask you a bit more about your story, but let's talk about Catholic stories for children and
Mhm.
what was the inspiration for that project and why did you get that going?
Yeah, that one started back when I didn't know much about the faith. I took a Bible study. I feel like I kind of got tricked a little bit because I was just like, oh, I'll just go to one, I'll check it out, see how it is. Signed in, and then the guy at the front's like, thank you for joining the 6 month study from Genesis to Revelation.
Okay.
So it's like this is way more than trying out one. But I stuck with it. I was like, I'll just go once a week, see how it is. And then from
Mhm.
there, I'm like, wow, this is actually really cool. And then dove in deeper from there, listening to Catholic Answers, Catholic radio, just trying to consume as much as I could.
Mhm.
And then I'm like, I really want to share this. This is so cool. And I taught confirmation, and I found out most of the students are starting from zero. Like they know
Hmm.
absolutely nothing because
Yeah.
public schools, they don't teach anything. It's not allowed to teach anything.
Hmm.
So I was like, okay, well, everyone's on their phones, everyone's on their devices. Let's make some videos where they're at. Let's meet kids where they're at. But I wanted to start for younger kids. That
Hmm.
way, by the time they get to high school, they'll know a lot more
Hmm.
than they do now. And so the first one I did was on the Hail Mary because I'm like, okay, if people like these animations, I know some people try to do like kind of just put virtues into the book or like kind of things like weave it in. But I'm like,
Hmm.
no, if I make things that are beautiful, I want to point people directly to the Catholic Church.
Hmm.
Um, and so starting with the Hail Mary, calling it Catholic Stories for Children, this one was produced, the animation. I worked with another animator and illustrator and I was at St. Michael's Abbey, met a guy there, told him about the animations. He's like, "Oh, we should meet up for coffee. Tell me some more about it." So I met with him. He's like, "It's okay if my sister comes." I was like, "Sure, no problem." Sorry, I'm speaking quick. It's a long story. I'll try to
Yeah, go
keep
keep
it
going. Go
quick.
ahead.
Um, so she comes in and he's like, "Do you know who this is?" And I'm like, "No." And he's like, "She runs the International Hollywood Film Festival." And we think you should submit the film. I'm like, no,
Wow.
no, this is an animation made for 2-year-olds to teach them the Hail Mary prayer. This isn't a Hollywood short film or anything like that. And he's like, okay, well, pray about it, and then get back to me. So I'm like, okay, I'll pray about it. And um, so prayed about it. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to put this in God's hand. So I submitted it, and then it was accepted to the festival.
Hmm.
I forget the steps, but it's like accepted, then or approved, accepted, nominated. It became a quarterfinalist. I'm like, this is crazy. And then they said
Gosh.
it's going to be shown at the historic Chinese Theater in Los Angeles. And this isn't a Catholic um, convention festival or anything like that. This is
Yeah.
secular. So I'm
Wow.
like, I have no idea how this is going to go with that audience. Hollywood
Hmm.
people hate Catholics and the Catholic Church, at least from what I've heard. And so there's a pre-party beforehand where they
Hmm.
choose 5 film producers to talk about their film. And I got a message that there's one spot left, and he's like, the guy I met at the Abbey is like, you should try for that role. I said, no, this is this is a 3-minute animation. If I make a preview, that's pretty much the whole thing. Um, and I'm not a party person. I don't drink or any of that. And he's like, okay. He said the same exact thing. He's like, pray about it and get back to me. So I prayed about it. I'm like, I'll do the same thing. I was put in God's hands. I submitted it, and they accepted me as the 5th producer to talk about the film at this
Wow.
Hollywood pre-party before the festival. So showed the little preview of the animation, talked
Hmm.
about it,
Hmm.
and I was expecting all sorts of crazy responses to like you're indoctrinating children and just like all sorts of things. But no, I was surprised the feedback was actually good. People were like, I like just general, I like your vibes, man, just LA people. And then another person came up to me and was like, I was raised Catholic, uh, haven't been to church in a long time, but this was really nostalgic. It brings me back to my roots. And so I'm like,
Wow.
okay, so this is like a good
Something
thing.
here. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Even if it's not, straight out converting people, it's showing people, hey, there's good in the Catholic Church.
Hmm.
And it's opening that door to them again.
Hmm.
Um, so then it was shown in the theater, and I was really sick that weekend. I only went to see mine and then went back home. I missed the award ceremony and everything. And the guy I met originally said, hey, your animation won some awards. I'm like, oh, cool. What were they? He's like, message the person who ran it. So I messaged them. Didn't hear back for a while, and then I just got some messages on my phone with pictures of the award, and then another picture, and another picture, and another picture. It won. They gave it 6 awards at this film festival. So I'm like, this is pretty incredible. I need to keep going with these animations. And so from that one, started working on the Prayer Time with Angels one in the treehouse. And then from there,
Wow.
making the animations into books. So
Hmm.
there'd be a physical version, which had a lot more challenges than I thought. It was,
Really?
yeah, yeah, I thought it'd be simple converting film
It
to
would
books.
seem like it would be like harder to create the show.
Yeah, yeah. So that was and I've noticed going from like book to animation has its challenges, animation to book has its challenges. With
Hmm.
animation to book or film to book, I was like, oh, it's a kid's book. I'll just print out, I'll take some like basically screenshots almost, but good quality photos,
Hmm.
images, print it on one side of the book and then have the words on the other side. Um, but it looked really bad. It looked like someone printed out
Oh
PowerPoint
no.
slide
Okay.
presentations. So I'm like, I
Yeah.
can't do this. So then I worked with the illustrator some more to make it look nice, find the right typography for it, figure out how to format the words. I tried putting some of them on the images, some separate.
Hmm.
And then I was looking through other kids' books to see how they do it. And usually they have different varieties through the book. It's not the same thing on every single page, whether it's like
Hmm.
full spread, partial spread. And even with doing that, it's like, okay, this is a lot of images. It ends up being really long. So that's when I switched it. It's like, okay, this would actually work much better as a comic book
Hmm.
because that's much more visual. You could see a lot more of the action going on
Wow.
scene by scene. And moving that route was, it took a lot more time,
Hmm.
but ended up working much nicer. Um,
That's phenomenal.
yeah, yeah,
Man, what a
yeah.
story. So you're what I mean, first of all, what a massive boost, like an insane boost of confidence that must have been, um, winning those awards. So where are you now with this like you're still studying, as you mentioned, and you're
Mhm.
still creating all of these things and you're growing. Is it a ministry or is it a little publishing house or what is
It's
it?
Yeah, I turned it into a 501(c)(3) nonprofit, so that's what it
Okay.
is right now. And I'm working with a very talented group of people because I'm not a great artist. You can't ask me to draw stuff.
Mhm.
Um, a screenwriter, so someone who knows how to actually take the words and make them work well for the screen.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of nuances there too. So for example, something could look wonderful in a book. You could read it, you could be like, this is great, this should be in a film.
Hmm.
But then if you put it in a film, it could just be like one person talking or two people talking for a while, which kids don't find interesting. So you need to have a lot more action going on. So that was one of the challenges is of converting something like this. Um, from written to visual. Also,
Hmm.
just all the decisions that come with that. Like, okay, what era is this going to be in? What type of clothing are they wearing? What's going to be in the bedroom scene?
Hmm.
What time of day is it, for example? It's like you have to make every decision for every aspect, and you don't always have to go into all those details when you write a book.
Hmm.
But when you make it visual, all you have to decide on all of it, because that's what people are going to see.
What's been the responses from people? Like, yeah.
Very positive. Yeah,
Yeah.
uh kids are waiting for the next ones. The parents love it because they're like, we've seen the Catholic videos that are out there right now, and there's not a lot. They want more. Um, responses have been really good with someone reached out from Pakistan to translate them into Urdu.
Oh
So I'm like,
wow.
yeah, go for it. So he translated it, dubbed it, and had a laptop, and he's bringing it village to village in Pakistan,
Oh
showing
my
it to the kids
gosh,
there,
that's amazing.
teaching them about
Wow.
Mary. I'm like, isn't that dangerous out there? Because and he's like, no, no, it's fine, it's fine. But then I still keep up with him and talk with him, and he tells me these stories of all these attacks and everything on Christian communities out there. I'm
Mhm.
like, just be safe. I'm glad
Yeah.
you're spreading the faith, but be safe out there.
Wow.
Um, and going from there, we started working with another Catholic book company to convert their books into animations as well. So now we're spreading out from our own
Wow.
to our other
Okay.
companies as well. But yeah, response has been growing
So apart
like
from studying, are you like full-time developing this? And it seems like it would grow into becoming a full-time animation studio almost.
yeah,
What's the
yeah,
dream here?
basically. Yeah, that's the goal. That's the dream to have this full-time Catholic animation studio.
Wow.
Um, and the route we're going is it's making very beautiful animations for kids.
Hmm.
And almost like multiple different episodes going on now with our Prayer Time with Angels, the
Hmm.
other Catholic book companies. There's also another one I haven't mentioned yet called Daisy and Sheep that we started coming out with too.
Oh, what
And
is
these
that?
are fun, short, vertical. episode, so made for the phone,
Okay.
of two characters, Daisy and Sheep. And it's teaching kids the mass. So we're coming up with fun scripts because we still want everything to be like a story, not
Hmm.
just learn this thing. Um, so that helps kids both capture their attention and helps them remember it. And with the mass is cool because after they see it in the animation, every single Sunday that they go to mass, they could see it happening
Hmm.
at the mass. So we started with
Wow.
the liturgical kiss when the priest first goes up, kisses the altar. It could be something kids didn't even notice or realize or think about at first. And now every Sunday they see it, understand it,
Hmm.
and from there can continue learning about the rest of the mass.
Wow.
Um, and from there, we also started going to live action as well. So we want to record a day in the life of priests and nuns, because most people don't know what's it like to be a Franciscan, a Jesuit, a Vincentian, a Sister of Mercy.
Yeah.
So we recorded one in Colorado. Be like, okay, let's see your story.
Hmm.
Just one day, starting in the morning, ending in the evening. What's it like? And so and she was a teacher, so seeing her like morning prayers, teaching the kids, it was the mass that day,
Hmm.
continue teaching the kids, more prayer. Um, and that way people could get more of a visual. And the hope is to increase vocations,
That's
uh,
incredible.
because if
Did you ever
people see it.
imagine yourself? I mean, it sounds like what I'm hearing you say is did you ever imagine starting a film production or animation studio when you started this whole thing? Was that a distant dream or you just sort of fell into it and now it's just blossoming and
Yeah, that's just been the route that it's been going, and
wow.
I don't want to say I'm just going with it because it's like I'm putting a lot of effort into it, but I know God's kind of leading the way, and
Yeah.
I'm more following along. Because no, that wasn't the intention. The original intention was helping these confirmation teenagers, right? And
Okay.
it's really grown and bloomed a lot from that, based on need and what would be beneficial for these kids.
So how can people how are you reaching people? And then how are you funding all of this? Do you have grassroots donors or are there like larger donors and grassroots donors? Like, how are you making it all happen?
Yeah, I'll start with the reach first and then talk about the financial side. So with reach,
Hmm.
a lot of it is through posting on social media, posting on Instagram, some on Facebook. We've tried with Twitter, weren't too successful there, or X. LinkedIn, we're trying out other stuff.
Hmm.
Um, but a lot of it's from LinkedIn and a lot of it's just from meeting people in person,
Hmm.
talking to people at different parishes, different Catholic conferences. Mostly talking with people has helped the most. And then for the financial side of things, it's a 501(c)(3, so a lot of it comes from donations.
Hmm.
And we don't always get what we need to cover for the animations because the animation's so expensive.
Hmm.
But we'll do what we can with what we have.
Hmm.
And we're stable to produce really good stuff with what we have.
That's
And
incredible.
I don't know if you've ever looked at how much like say a Disney animation is, or even like South Park animation or other animations,
Hmm.
that there's like high quality, low quality, but like on the lower end of it, from what I could find, like a 30-minute episode um, of an animation that's popular that a lot of people watch
Hmm.
is about $1 million per 30-minute episode. And so that isn't a small
Gosh.
amount to raise. And then if you want
Wow.
to make, say, a movie, a full-on
Hmm.
movie,
Yeah.
you're getting to hundreds of millions.
Hmm.
Um, with Angel Studios, they're coming out with a David animation. And
Hmm.
I don't know if you've looked at it looks beautiful. It
I
looks
saw the
amazing.
trailer. It's stunning. Yeah.
It's incredible, but they've had to raise, I think they're over 60 million to make that happen.
Hmm.
And it does make me question, like, is this really worth it? Is that worth that amount?
Hmm.
Um, if it leads to helping, because it's going to end up having a large reach. If it
Hmm.
reaches the world and changes the lives of this many people, this many families, then
Hmm.
yeah, it could be worth it.
Wow.
Um, but yeah, going to that back to the group in Pakistan, it's like they're finding these animations worth it of
Mhm.
helping out all these different villages and giving hope to kids. And so we are trying to do a little bit more. We're doing fundraisers to provide them
Mhm.
money to dig wells so they could get clean access to water,
Wow.
uh, for education to help them get out of the poverty level.
Mhm.
So we're working on these other things as well, not just like look at this video, have some hope, you're good to
That's,
go.
oh gosh, what an
Um,
incredible thing.
yeah.
Wow. So, well, where can people find you online, Trevor, to support you, to um, get involved, to find out what you're up to
Mhm.
all of that? Where can they go?
CatholicStoriesForChildren.com is our website, CatholicStoriesForChildren.com. And then if you're on Instagram, it's at Catholic Stories for Children. Same with Facebook at Catholic Stories for Children. YouTube at Catholic Stories for Children. But the website, it has everything. It has all the animations. They're all free. They come with worksheets if you have kids and want to print them out and have the kids do activities to help deepen their understanding and learning. Um, yeah, websites where you could go to watch them, also to donate, give, or to help spread the word about these animations.